Hi everyone, Sheila Keeter here. I am the Teacher for Inclusion. I have a Teachers Pay Teachers shop called Teacher for Inclusion as well as a blog. Today is a very special day for me because it is my 1-year anniversary with Teachers Pay Teachers, or on Teachers Pay Teachers, not with them. I don't work for them. I work on the site. And my journey began 2 years ago, rooted in tragedy, actually. I had lost a student. It was a very dramatic and traumatic loss. It was a violent loss. And I spent the next year in complete burnout, just trying to get through 1 year of teaching. And I don't know if you've ever been in this place of burnout before. It's not the kind of burnout that you have, although this is real burnout, the kind of burnout you have at the end of the school year when it's time for summer break. Now that's a wall to climb. This was a kind of burnout that was new to me in that I knew that I had to leave the teaching profession. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I left teaching and I started watching reruns of Law and Order because that's not depressing. And this was during COVID. And suddenly it just came to me. I thought, well, what if I could sell my curriculum? Because I thought I'm really going to miss students and I'm really going to miss creating curriculum. And I remembered about Teachers Pay Teachers, but I thought, oh, there's no way they're going to let me sell my resources, even though I knew that everyone could sell their resources. I thought, not me, they won't let me. And anyhow, I started my journey and I just fell in love with the whole process of Teachers Pay Teachers and everything that goes into it. In fact, full disclosure, the Teachers Pay Teachers conference was a couple weeks ago, and I made a couple videos on it. And in one of them, I say, oh, it's been a week since the conference and I'm still learning. And in full disclosure, I actually got up, I'm in California, so I got up at 4 a.m. every morning. I watched every single video. I attended all of the lives. I loved it. It was a blast. It was fun. I learned a lot. And aside from it being fun, I have a YouTube channel that's based on Teachers Pay Teachers. So it's a smart idea, I think, to learn as much as I possibly could at the time that I could learn. So anyhow, it's been a year. And I would have to say that my metaphor for Teachers Pay Teachers is kind of like the Ferris wheel at Disneyland, or not Disneyland, but the California Adventure. It's that big Ferris wheel that goes up a little bit and then swings up a little and swings down really low where your stomach drops. It has been a course of ups and downs. And the highs have been great and the lows have been terrible. So that in sum has been the past year that I have had with Teachers Pay Teachers, but it has been, like I said, it's been an exceptional journey. So I've already gone over my 8-month income report. So I'm just going to quickly show what I've done since then. On my share screen here. Now I have 3 shops because I thought that I needed to niche down. It's something that I have learned since that you don't really need to do, and that you can sell as many resources from as many different subject matters as you want to. At least most of the successful people that I've seen have done this with their shops. But anyway, I have 3 different stores, so I'm going to just show you my main shop here. And last year, when I started, my first real whole month was August, and I made $404. And my second month was October, where I made $594, and then it dipped in December, as it should, because people are off for a couple weeks. And then we had January, where it went up, And then my highest month with my other stores, I made 2,700 in March. And then it dropped in April, dropped in May. And as you can see, it just keeps going down. June and July. July has been the worst month so far. I still managed to make about 1,200 in June, which I was really shocked about. Every time I heard a cha-ching, I was completely shocked because I heard we would make nothing. So I'm grateful for that. I don't know why that is. I could make less in August. And that's the thing with Teachers Pay Teachers. You just don't know what your month is going to be like. And so one of the things that I have learned is to not try to control that. You can't control your sales. It's just one of the things that you can't do, unfortunately. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do, or some of the things that I did learn. Okay, I have notes. Remember, I forget things. I wish that someone had told me that I didn't have to do all the things. So over this past year, I remember being new at this and watching YouTube videos and reading blog posts and thinking, oh my gosh, and being completely overwhelmed, working 10 to 12 hours on my store and still thinking, how am I going to get Instagram set up? How am I going to have a blog and a podcast and a YouTube channel? You don't have to do all of the things. Don't do all of the things. Please don't do all of the things. I would suggest starting a plan for some kind of long form content. So either a plan for a blog, a plan for a podcast, or a plan for a YouTube channel. And I would just slowly work on that. And that could just be researching topics for your blog, researching topics for what you want to learn to teach on a YouTube channel. And just sort of get that started and going a little bit. I have a blog and I did a YouTube channel, and it was just a little bit too much, too fast for me. It's getting easier now, but when I first started the blog and the YouTube channel, it was a lot of work. The other thing is I would start one short form content. So whether that is on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm not talking about Facebook Live, that's long form content, but something that just takes a little bit of time. Or you can just do Pinterest, which is free and fairly easy, although time consuming. Let's see. I would put your effort into your products. Primarily, put your effort into your products, because if you're marketing and you don't have any products, people are going to see you and they might like and trust you, but you may not have what they need to buy. So make sure that you are focusing. Most of your attention needs to go to your products. I would say your first year, 90% of your attention should be on product creation. Focus on your descriptions, on your previews, on your thumbnails. Those are the things that I wish I had slowed down, really taken time to do, to create, to make top notch, because I've had to go back multiple times and redo them. And I have like over 400 products now. So when I need to go back, it takes days to do something. So slow down and make sure that you work on those things that you can control so that you don't have to go back and redo them. Don't fall into the pit of being a perfectionist, because then you're just procrastinating and holding off on making new products, and that's not helpful. But just make sure that you don't rush through, let's say, your descriptions like I did and have mistakes and errors, and they're just really awful and horribly put together. Focus on those things. Focus on your long form content. Everything else, let it go. Bad reviews, let it go. Someone telling you what you have to do, let it go. Everybody has their own journey. Some people are teaching. I don't know how people do this. as a side hustle. For me, if I were teaching, it would be a hobby, not a side hustle. It would have to be a hobby because it's a lot of work. It doesn't have to be, but it's a lot of work. And if you are working full time, don't put yourself at risk for burnout by not sleeping or eating or being healthy. It doesn't seem to end well for people when I hear the stories. So just don't do it. If it needs to be a hobby for you at this time, let it be a hobby for you. Work on it in the summer or the holidays or, on the weekends. But don't miss out on your sleep in order to do this, because let's face it, most of us are not going to become millionaire teachers. There. I said it. I'll say it again. Most of us are not going to become millionaire teachers. And if you are jeopardizing your sleep and your health, it's not even worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it because it's probably not going to happen. If we knew it was going to happen, that'd be a little different. We'd sacrifice for a while, but it's just, there's not a lot of millionaire teachers that are with Teachers Pay Teachers. We hear a lot about them, but there aren't really a lot of them. And most of them have been doing this for a very long time, since Teachers Pay Teachers began. All right, another piece of advice would be to use templates. Templates saved me. So I do novel study units for 8th through 12th. Use a template, plug in the information, tailor it to the product, but use templates. That way you can make sure you look at that template 100 times and there's no errors on it. And then when you add the information that you need to tailor it to a specific product, and be sure to tailor it. If you sell a template, people will get very angry. Do not sell a template. Anyhow, that way you only add the information that you need and you only have to check over that information versus having to read a whole resource. Use answer keys. People get really angry when you don't use an answer key. So it's a pain, I know, but you must include an answer key. Look, I use the must word. You must not. You don't have to do anything. But my suggestion, these are my suggestions after my 1-year experience. Use an answer key. Create directions for your buyers, because if you don't create directions, then they will come asking a lot of questions and it can get really sticky sometimes. So use a directions page that clearly states how to use your product. Don't translate. If you're a PowerPoint person, don't translate everything into Google. Let me say that again. I wouldn't. If you're creating long resources, like my products are at 50 plus pages. So when I translate everything from PowerPoint to Google, everything moves. You may not realize that. I didn't. I translated it and uploaded a bunch of products and then realized at a certain point when I was getting complaint after complaint that my stuff was not aligned. Everything moves. And yes, you could save everything as a PNG and then upload it to Google. But if you're making, and I do suggest that you do that if you have shorter resources. But if you have super long resources like I do, then either make them through Google Slides or use PowerPoint. Listen to videos, listen to podcasts. There were a lot of people in the conference that said not to, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think you should listen to videos in place of product production, but if you're making products or you're doing some of those low mental tasks that don't take a lot of mental energy, then listen and learn. But just listen knowing that, okay, I'm not going to be doing this right now. I'm not going to be podcasting yet. But that's something that I can think about, because they're all things you can think about and decide on, let's say a year from now. And maybe you learn a lot about podcasting, or you learn a lot about YouTube, or you learn a lot about blogging, and then you make a decision as to whether or not it's something you want to do. So just listen to videos, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. Just don't overwhelm yourself by thinking you have to do them all now. And my last point is that I have really learned that everybody is different. Everyone is in a different place in their journey. My journey, as I mentioned, was rooted in tragedy, and TPT saved me because I put my mind to work, and there was something that really helped me as far as product creation went. It was just really helpful to me. And I just spent 10 to 12-hour days working on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I was happy and it was fun. So everyone's in a different place for different reasons. So just let your journey take its course. Let your creativity do what it needs to do. And that's one more thing. If you don't feel like doing something in a moment where you have to do something, switch gears and do something different. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, if you need to plan everything out and then stick to the schedule and be consistent. If I don't feel like writing a blog post and I don't feel like doing anything that's going to require a lot of mental energy, then I won't create covers or improve covers or do something more creative. So let your creative energy take you where it wants to go so that it is always a positive experience. If you do it that way, I think it will always be a positive experience. There are times when you can hunker down and write those blog posts. And there are times when you really just don't want to do it and you don't have to. So that would be my biggest piece of advice, is to just let your creative energy take its own course. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for being here with me today on my 1-year journey anniversary. And I hope that you are having an amazing journey as well. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks, friends. Bye-bye.